Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the May 21st edition of the Sidereal Insights Astro update here on the Mystick Physick Astrology Facebook page. Bear with me just one moment while I refresh my browser. I want to make sure that I catch all of your comments during the broadcast for anyone who's joining me live. And if you're joining me live, thank you. If you're catching the replay, thank you. If you have questions or comments, don't hesitate to post them in the comments, because I'll keep an eye on this broadcast throughout the afternoon and come back and answer any questions that you have. So welcome, as I was saying, welcome to Sidereal Insights. Every 2 weeks what we do is we explore the astrology of the current planetary transits across the heavens from a Western sidereal perspective. You need to look up your sidereal sign placements. There's an easy online calculator at mystickphysick.com/sidereal tools that will help you find out what your 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝘐𝗏 sidereal natal placements are for free. And so you can just enter in your birth data and get a copy of your natal chart. I'm 𝘱𝘭𝘢. I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystick Physick Astrology, and I use Western sidereal astrology here in my practice to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and remember why you came. And my aim with these broadcasts, as always, is to kind of provide guidance on how we can use the current planetary transits, the energy of the current planetary transits, to affect our lives in a positive way. So the idea is that we can use this energy consciously. We can choose how we interact with it. And my broadcasts here are always from the approach of giving you guidance on how you can do that. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just going to make sure that I have the broadcast going right here. Everything muted. If you can hear me and see me okay, please let me know in the comments. And I'm going to jump right in and get started with my notes. I do have everything ready to go here in the browser. So what's up for today? Well, a lot of retrograde activity over the coming month that we're going to kind of touch on what's coming up. To recap, we've got Mars in Capricorn, and if you need to catch the last broadcast of the Sidereal Insights Astro update, I go into more depth on Mars in Capricorn. Okay, so it may be worth watching that broadcast because Mars is exalted there, and it's a 6-week-long transit, so that's going to be something that will be with us for a little while. We also have Venus out of bounds, and we do have more out of bounds activity coming up in June. We just came through 3 big events for the month of May. We had Venus move into Gemini, we had the new moon in Aries, and we had the sun entering Taurus all on the 15th. So just about 6 days ago. And then before the end of the month, we have Mercury entering Taurus. We have our full moon in Scorpio, a few other things going on. But we did talk about, as I was saying in our last broadcast and the broadcast before, we talked about Mars entering Capricorn, Mars being exalted in Capricorn. That happened in early May, and like I was saying, that's a 6-month-long transit. So coming up here in June, will be just about a month underway. We're going to have Mars retrograde during that transit at the end of June. And so that's going to be an opportunity to go back and maybe see about taking a new approach to whatever we're working on, especially in the house that Capricorn rules in your natal chart. So keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth coming up in the June and in the July horoscopes on the mystickphysick.com website. But like I was saying, that's a 6-month-long transit. It's about our ability to delay gratification, working in active pursuit of higher goals. It's about what we can accomplish when we take action in pursuit of our highest ambition. And so it's going to be a fun 6 months in those respects. Normally that's a 7-week-long transit, 6 months with Mars's upcoming retrograde. Venus, let's kind of recap a little bit. Venus out of bounds. Out of bound planets, recall we've talked about this in the past. Out of bound planets are planets that have moved beyond 23 degrees, 27 minutes north or south declination. So they have moved beyond, north or south beyond the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn. And so they're in the sense of out of bounds, they're playing by their own rules. They're marching to the beat of their own drum. They're not behaving in the commonly accepted way that we expect those planets to behave. And those planets, when they're out of bounds, they tend to do that for the entire duration that they're out of bounds. We had Venus go out of bounds earlier in May. She's going to be out of bounds until June 9th. And so recall that out of bounds planets are a little bit unconventional. They're somewhat out of the box in the expression and behavior. Well, just as she's coming back in bounds, we have other planets going out of bounds. And so we're looking at, let me get my months, or excuse me, my notes here coming up. So in June coming up, we have, like I was saying, Venus coming back in bounds right after Mercury leaves. Mercury's going to be out of bounds June 6th through the 24th. And we have the sun kind of kissing that border on the 21st and 22nd. So take note of those time frames. They're going to be interesting to keep your eye on as far as what transpires for you, especially in your houses which are ruled by Venus and Mercury. And then those 2 days, the 21st and 22nd, your house that's ruled by Leo. Okay, so just kind of a fun, interesting side note that puts a different spin on planetary behavior. Now, coming up here in the next couple of days, we've got a couple of important oppositions. Mercury opposing retrograde Jupiter. This is possibly something where you may hear news about something that you've already been working on in the past may come back, and you may be drawn back to something that you've already begun working on. Venus opposing retrograde Saturn. So this is one that concerns me maybe a little bit more than Mercury opposing retrograde Jupiter. So sometimes financial losses are possible when Venus and Saturn are in opposition. Losing a valuable possession could, in this case, or even partnership breakups may be possible. Now, this particular opposition is taking place. Did I jot down the date? I did not. Let me check the date for you here. That is on the 26th, okay? So coming up, looks like on Saturday. So what I would do is check your sidereal natal chart using the 𝘱𝘀𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘀 zodiac for a planet or point at 13 degrees of Gemini, that would be conjunct Venus, of Sagittarius, that would be conjunct Saturn, or 13 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, which would be a position squaring that Venus retrograde Saturn opposition. If you have a planet or point at 13 degrees of one of those signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, you could feel that opposition kind of personally. So watch out for the potential for a loss right there. So like I was saying, that's coming up on the 26th. Keep an eye on the days around that particular date, I would say, including the day before and the day after. Okay. And then, as I was saying earlier in the broadcast, we have Mercury changing signs into Taurus. Mercury is going to move into Taurus on the 22nd for a 3-week-long visit. So commerce, business negotiations, those types of activities are going to be favored during that transit. Security is highlighted, and financial news could be possible for some of you, okay? Especially those of you who have a chart rulership in Mercury. Say if you have Gemini or Virgo sun or rising sign, you could be personally affected, or you could feel that a little bit more, more personally with that tour, okay? So watch for your sense of security or security itself to maybe come up and be an issue there. Full moon in Scorpio coming up. This is on the 29th. So coming up, what day of the week do we have that? I think I noted, where did I note it? Oh, I'll touch on it later at the end of the broadcast. I noted it in the announcements. So the full moon in Scorpio coming up on the 29th. We're going to be having a stream in the Sidereal Insights Astrology Facebook group, so definitely join me there. That particular full moon is one that's going to, like, if you have deep questions that you've been looking for answers on, probing questions that you've been looking for answers on, that particular full moon could help bring you closer to those answers, to the answers to those questions, those deep and probing questions that you've been asking. It could see you reaping the results of some of your most strategic decisions and actions. And, you know, if you've been spending time, if you've been working on your own inner search for meaning, the full moon in Scorpio is a time when you can come to very rich fulfillment in that particular personal search. So that event, please join me. We're going to meet up in the group in the Sidereal Insights Facebook group. It's 7:30 p.m. Mountain, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and I believe it's something ungodly like 2:30 in the morning in UK, and I apologize for that for my UK viewers, but definitely catch the replay since I know you're probably asleep at that hour. But catch the full moon releasing practice. What we're going to do is we're going to explore the energy and the archetype of Scorpio. We're going to talk about what it is we can release and let go of and move past with this full moon. We're going to talk about what it is that we might need to be wrapping up or bringing to a conclusion at this time at the end of the month. So like I was saying, that's next week, and I believe it's on a Monday. I believe the 29th is on a Monday, so join me for that. Okay. Next month, in addition to the out of bounds activity that we have coming up, we have an expansion of the retrograde activity, and this is to go more in depth at what I brought up at the beginning of the broadcast. Retrogrades, right? So right now we have Jupiter, we have Saturn retrograde, we have Pluto retrograde. Later in June, we have Neptune and Mars joining them. So that's a lot of the heavy hitting outer planets retrograde. Mars, the planet of energy, vitality, activity, initiative, also retrograde for 2 months in that time frame. Our lives are going to be slowing down coming up in the summer months, right? So especially if you're in North America, the summer months, kind of a slow time, you know, for a lot of places, school's out, business may be a little bit slower. People are more relaxed. They're taking their time. It's just a slower pace to life, right? And so that's kind of what we're going to be experiencing right now. And that trend is going to last for several months. Some of our planets are going to be retrograde until November, some until early and late September. Mars is going to be retrograde for about 2-month period, just as summer's getting underway here in the northern hemisphere. And so with that many planets retrograde, not a lot of progress is going to be made on very many fronts. So a lot of what we begin or do or undertake during that time frame could come back up later on for correction, for adjustment, for tweaking through the summer months and into fall. A lot of what we begin during this time is going to change at some point in the future. So keep this in mind if you have major undertakings or initiations planned in the next few months. That's something that you're going to want to account for in your planning, and we will talk more specifically by sign in the Sidereal Monthly Horoscopes at mystickphysick.com as we move through the next couple of months, okay? So definitely be aware you've got a place you can come to get more specific guidance on that. But there's going to be lots of transition, lots of restructuring, changes that we're going to be going through as, you know, maybe issues are made known to us, information may come out. Resources may be made available, or we may run out of certain resources and have to respond to that. So there's lots of adapting coming up in order to make progress going forward down the road, okay? Particularly for Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Aries sun and rising signs. So that's a good chunk of the zodiac right there. These signs are all going to be somewhat more affected more than others. That's, you know, half the signs. That means a lot of people, the majority of people, right? Because we're talking sun signs and rising signs, will be feeling these slowdowns in some way, okay? So July and August especially, and into September, and for some of us even into November and beyond. Okay, so June is going to be a month to keep your eye on, and like I said, we will get more in depth in that in the June overview and short reports, and in the full horoscopes by sign. The June overview and short reports, excuse me, that's going to be available here probably on the 22nd or 23rd for you. I will make a post on the Facebook page and I will send out an email and let you know as soon as that's available. Be sure to visit mystickphysick.com/sidereal monthly horoscopes for more detailed May forecast and highly customized advice for every sign. And be sure to read for your sun and your rising sign while you're there. Okay. Stay tuned. We do have announcements coming up about the 2019 Ultimate Astrological Planner. I'm very excited about that. We got some updates, some changes, some new additions coming for next year's Ultimate Astrological Planner. And join us too in the Sidereal Insights Facebook group for our upcoming, live stream on, Tuesday the 29th. So this will be the full moon releasing practice, Tuesday the 29th at 7:30, full moon in Sidereal Scorpio. So join me for that live stream. And then our YouTube channel, please feel free, subscribe if you like. I will share a link to that in the comments, and that way, especially if anyone wants to catch the replay, you can catch it on YouTube as well. But please like and share our broadcasts, especially if you got benefit out of it. And if you know of anyone who may find it helpful, feel free to tag them in the comments or share the video with them. We appreciate that. And thanks for joining for joining me. Thank you for coming to the broadcast and joining me. It's so wonderful to have you with me. I think that's what I was trying to say. And we'll catch you next time, and we'll see you also on Tuesday the 29th for the full moon in Sidereal Scorpio releasing practice. Thanks again, and bye.